And the word management, the set of activities starting from planning to end with the controlling. Then after we have understand the definition of financial management given by the various experts. Okay, and one of the most acceptable and you know common definition that we are using, that is given by S.C. Kusal. And according to that definition, financial management deals with procurement of funds and the effective utilization in the business. Then after, we have seen two another definitions. One is given by Joseph and Meshi, and third one is given by Asin Maheshwari. You need to remember any one definition out of these three definitions, and then after we have started the discussion about objectives of financial management. We have two objectives. Number one, profit maximization, and number two, wealth maximization. Okay, now the screen is on from my side. Please check it whether it is visible to you or not. Wait for a few seconds, it will be visible, okay? From my side, it's done now. Is it visible now? Okay. So directly moving for the next point. I think so we are here, right? Yes, okay. So we are discussing the three important definitions of financial management, or we can call it scope of financial management. Actually, we have four decisions, okay, if you look at the modern financial management, but generally we have three: financing, investment, and dividend decision. Lastly, we have discussed, I think so, this one, okay, financing decision. Initially, in the financing decisions, we need to think about the three parameters, three elements: sources of finance, from where we can get the money; number two, cost of finance. Okay, specifically when we are talking about the company forms of organization, we have three sources of finance: equity, preference, and debt. Okay, and we also think about the cost of equity share, cost of preference share, and cost of debt capital. And then after, in the third element, we need to look at the ratio of debt and equity, the proportion of equity share capital, preference share capital, and the debt capital in the entire capital of the company. Now we are in the second decision. In the second decisions, we need to think about the business. Okay, first we need to develop the business idea, and then after, based on the business idea, we need to develop a business plan. And in the plan, we need to make some investments in a building, investments in plants and machineries, etc., etc. Okay, already we have discussed my example that I love to cook, so I want to start my business in the Rajkot food business. Okay, already I have decided the place at KKB Hall, nearby KKB Hall, the prime location for the Rajkot city. Okay, I already rented or purchased a place. So now my business idea is clear, my business plan is ready. Now I need to purchase the machineries, I need to purchase the plant. Okay, I need to make the advertisement and rest of all the things. And then after my business was going good and I'm earning the good amount of profit. So again, when I earn a more amount, when I have a more profit, at that time, again, I have some surplus amount with me. Okay, so at that time, I need to think about the utilization of this surplus money, or I need to think about the some way I need to invest this extra money. So in that process, I need to think about these three elements, okay, before going for the investment: timing, risk, and return. timing, risk, and return. I hope so. Up to this, the entire discussion is over. Yes? Clear? See, suppose I invest 2 lakh rupees in the bank FD, then return will different. The risk is nearby zero. Okay, and suppose I invest this 2 lakh rupees in the share market, risk is so high, but again, return is so high. Okay, so at that time, whenever I am going for, or whenever company goes for the, you know, investment, they need to think about these three parameters: timing, risk, and return. Later on, we will practically see that how we calculate the risk, how we calculate the return on particular investment in the unit number 3. So now the third decision. I think so from this point, our entire discussion is pending. Am I right? Okay, we have discussed this one. Okay, so let me discuss in very shortly. So third decision is dividend decision. Okay, in the dividend decisions, company need to think about three different elements: dividend policy, okay, constant dividend policy, fixed percentage, fixed amount, then flexible dividend policies. Then after the payment of dividend, in which form the company is paying the dividend, in case in form of case, in form of bank, or directly deposited to the bank account in form of check, or in form of other securities, in form of equities, or in form of bonus right, etc., etc. And third element, that it is in the hands of board of directors. If the board of directors are not ready to declare the dividend or distribute the dividend, they are going to reinvest the profit in the business. That called as a reinvestment. Sometimes it is also known as retained earning. So whenever the company have a profit, net profit, that net profit is divided in two different parts. One part is retained earning, the reinvestment of profit in the business, and second part is dividend, the profit distributed among the shareholders. This is also known as a divisible profit. And the fourth one is working capital management. It's specifically management of finance or management of money for a short run. Here, short run means less than 1 year. Okay, the management of capital and funds for day-to-day operations, production, purchase, sales, labor expenses, rent expenses, electricity expenses. These all are covered under the working capital management. And also it's cover the current assets and current liabilities, like a short-term bank loan, bank overdraft, credit cards, debtors, then after creditors, bills receivable, bills payables. All are the parameters, or all are the elements of working capital. Up to this, any doubt, any query? Okay, thank you, beta. Now the next one is objectives of financial management. Please note down this title. This is very, very important for all of you. That may be asked in your mid 1, mid 2, or final examinations. It's having 8 marks. Okay, full theoretical question. So write down the title. आपने लिखा नहीं है इससे पहले, आई थिंक सो हमने ये पॉइंट अभी तक डिस्कस नहीं किया था
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just write down the title, objectives of financial management, and on a left side or on a right side somewhere write down most important question. Okay, then see, I'm not asking every time that are you ready for please take your book and open your book and write down. Whenever I necessary or whenever it is required, I directly say that please note down this. So whenever you join the my class, for other class I don't know, but whenever you join the FM session, FM class, please be ready with your book, pen, pencil, and calculator, because from the next sessions we are going for a practical aspect of this subject. So please be ready with this 3 to 4 required things: book, pen, pencil, calculator. Now, mainly we have two objectives, okay, in the financial management. One is profit maximization, number two is wealth maximization. Let me explain profit maximization first, okay. Whether it is Tata, whether it is Reliance, or whether it is Samsung, or whether it is Balaji Sandwich, or whether it is Balaji Wafers, or whether it is Gopal Snacks. All the companies are established to earn a profit, except the government organization and except the NGOs, non-profit organizations. These two organizations are established and operated to helpful to the society, for a well-being of this society, okay. Rest of all the organizations, rest of all the companies are working or established to earn a profit. So for each and every activity or operation is only for earning the profit. And that's why the profit is considered as the most important aspect in any business. Why it is considered as an important aspect? Because profit will give you the business efficiency and business profitability. Because profit measuring is considered as one of the technique to understand the business profitability, to understand the business efficiency. And that's why the profit maximization is one of the prime objective of any organization. The background is clear why this profit maximization is one of the objective of any organization or any company, because all the activities around the business are based on the profit. Okay, your survival, your expenses, your employees, your sales, and other operations are based on only this parameter. If the companies are suffering losses, then it may be a case of Vijay Mallya, or it may be a case of Nirav Modi. So ऐसा केस भी हो सकते हैं if companies are not well managed. Okay, now my question to all of you, that how company can maximize the profit. How company can maximize the profit. Which are the ways? Yes, my dear. This question is for all of you. अगर किसी कंपनी को प्रॉफिट इंक्रीज करना है तो उसको क्या करना होगा? कौन कौन से रास्ते हैं प्रॉफिट को इंक्रीज करने के लिए? Okay, by providing good trust to their customers. Okay, very nice. Increasing their goodwill by increasing sales. Okay, quality. Okay, I'm agree with the Jenny, by increasing the sales. Okay, Drew, reduce the cost of raw material, schemes and bulk buying products. Okay, increase the production. Very nice. Decreasing the cost. After sales service may be good, must be good. Quantity, very nice. We are going on a right track. Change in expenses. Aisha, the better word is reduce the expenses. Okay. Yes, best quality. So if I categorize this, all the list that you have suggested me, okay, make a goods according to the preference of the customer, very right. Yes. If I categorize this this all the list that you have given to me in two categories, the first way to increase or to maximize the profit is to increase the income. The first way is to increase the income by any way. by providing more discount, by providing get one buy one free, by reducing the selling price, by improving the quality, by improving the quantity, by making more advertisement, by making more publicities. Okay, you may adopt any way that comes to you. So first way to increase the sales, to increase the profit is to increase the revenue, to increase the income. And the second way to get a maximum profit is to reduce the expenses as possible as to reduce the cost. Suppose my business is going good. Okay. As you know, my food business is there nearby KKB Hall, and I'm earning the profit of rupees 5 lakh every month. Profit of 5 lakh every month. My total sales for the current month is 15 lakh, and my total expenses are 10 lakh. The difference is 5 lakh, that is profit for me. In the next month, I have created one particular advertisement, and I have given that advertisement in the Aaj Tak media. Okay, and due to this advertisement, my sales was increased from 15 lakh to 17 lakh. 15 lakh to 17 lakh. So in that particular month, my profit will be 7 lakh because cost remains same. Are you getting my point? So the first way is to increase your income, to increase your sales, to increase your revenue, to increase the profit, to maximize the profit. Second way, up to this, I'm using the labor cost. I'm using the manual manufacturing process. Now, in this month, I have adopted a latest technology. I have established a new machinery, and due to this latest technology and machineries, the cost of operation will reduce from 10 lakh to 9 lakh. So again, in that case, my profit will increase. Yes, from 5 lakh to 6 lakh. Okay, now remember this example. So I hope so. Now the profit maximization is clear. Okay, but now see, up to this, I am like a one-sided lover. I am acting like a one-sided lover. I am seeing only profit. वो एक सॉन्ग है ना, अब हर जगह बस दिखे तू, इसी तरह से मुझे क्या दिख रहा है? प्रॉफिट. आई एम नॉट लुकिंग फॉर एनी अदर एस्पेक्ट. सो फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, this concept, this objective is a narrow objective. Okay, the profit maximization is a narrow approach. And if you see, up to this, all the organizations are established to earn a profit. That's why this is also known as traditional approach. So the profit maximization is traditional approach, plus it's a narrow approach. We are looking only for a profit. Okay? Now wait for the next slide. And for a long run, okay, let me explain this entire slide with the example. Please remember my example. I have put an advertisement in Aaj Tak media, and due to this advertisement, my sales was increased by 2 lakh rupees. Now again, in the next month, I will put the same advertisement in the same media. Do you think the same increase is there in the profit? Or in a sales or income? 2 lakh profit will increase. If I put the same advertisement in the same media in the next month, the same profit increase is there by 2 lakh rupees. initially, suppose for the second month, it may happen due to the more demand. But in the third month, after a fourth month, after a 6 months, it will not happen. Definitely, it will not happen. So, what we can conclude here? That profit maximization can be possible for a short run. Okay, it can be possible for short run, but for a long run, the profit is not only the main thing. So for a long run, the survival and the growth of the company is needed, and that's why these profit maximizations have some limitations. The first limitation, already we have concept that it is a traditional and narrow approach. Number two, it's ignore the risk and time value of money. It ignore the just 1 minute. Huh? It's ignore the risk and time value of money concept. In the next sessions, we will understand time value of money. Don't worry about it. And as we have discussed that, it is mainly focused on short-run profitabilities. So these are three are the limitations. Number one is it's a narrow concept, traditional concept. Number two, it's ignore the risk and time value of money, and it's mainly focus on short-run profitability. Due to these limitations, or to remove these limitations, the new hero came in the picture, and that new hero is wealth maximization. Okay, so whenever the question asked, first you need to explain the profit maximization, second you need to explain the limitation of profit maximizations, and the third point you need to explain the wealth maximizations. So now our KGF2 hero is wealth maximization. Okay, and here wealth maximization means maximizing the net present value of the company. Net present value means present value of benefits minus present value of cost. That we will discuss later with the practical question and NPV and everything. But let me explain this entire slide or entire concept with the example. See here. These are the forms of organization. Okay. First forms of organization is sole proprietorship, in which only the one person handling the business, okay, he is taking the risk. Whatever the profit or loss, it goes to his or her. Like as me, I have started business, so I bring the capital, I operate the business, I take the risk, okay, and whatever the return is there, all the returns come to me. Number two types of organization, partnership firm, okay, in which minimum 2 and maximum 200 partners are there, and they are bringing the capital, they are taking the risk, they are liable for the business operation, and they are sharing the profit or loss that generated from the business. Now the third one, and important for us, because in financial management we are not talking about the sole proprietorship, or we are not talking about the partnership firm. We are talking about the company. And when the company question comes to the companies, we have two different parties. We have two different parties. The first party means owners of the company, and number two is management of the company. Can you tell me who are they considered as a management of the company? Who are they considered as a management of company? Management of company में हम किसको include करते हैं? Okay, number one, board of directors, right? Okay, number two, CEOs. Okay, yes, MD. No. Supervisors and departmental managers are not considered as a part of management, because this all are the follow the MD, CEO, and board of directors strategies and plans. So we have board of directors, okay, MD or a chairman, both are same. Sahil. Okay, we call it MD, managing director, or a chairman. In generally, in most of companies, both are the same. And the CEO and CFO, Chief Finance Officer. These four are the management of the company. Now, can you tell me who are the owner of the company? The real owner? No, no. Okay, Arjun said shareholders. I said shareholders. Okay, which type of shareholders? Preference shareholders or equity shareholders? Okay, equity shareholders are considered as the owner of the company. Why? Because they are taking a risk in terms of return. Suppose company has issued 10% debentures, it means company need to pay 10% interest to the debenture holders every year, irrespective of profit or loss. Whether the company is earning a profit or whether company is suffering the losses, company need or company should pay a 10% interest to a debenture holders. It means they are not taking any risk. In respect to your profit, they are getting the returns. Same applicable to preference shareholders. If the 5% preferences are there, they are getting the 5% dividend. But the main risk is taken by the equity shareholders. If is there a profit in a company? Yes. If the board of directors are ready, first condition, is there profit? Yes. Satisfied? Number two condition, board of directors are ready? Yes. If the board of directors are ready to declare the dividend, then and then equity shareholders will get the benefit. That's why they are considered as a owner of the company. And now the last line from my side about this concept, the wealth maximization means maximizing the wealth of equity shareholders. Wealth maximization means maximization of equity shareholders' wealth. Now the concept is clear. This concept is clear. Oh, yes, I will answer that definitely. Okay, but after the completion of this discussion, don't worry. Now, how will shareholders receive their wealth? We have discussed that the wealth maximization means maximizing the shareholders' wealth. But which are the ways how the company can maximize the wealth? So there are two ways from the shareholders are getting their wealth. Number one is dividend. Whenever there is a profit and board of directors are ready, companies are declaring the dividends. They get the dividend, they get the money, they can utilize that money for their fulfilling the financial needs and then bringing and their welfare. Number two is capital gain. Okay, let me take an example to explain the capital gain. Okay, we have discussed the example of Tata Motor share price. We have used that example, share price of Tata Motors. No. Okay. So now open your Google. Go to the Google and search share price of Tata Motors in 2014. Share price of Tata Motors in 2014. You will get some figure. Can you tell me that figure? यस आपकी शायद कुछ गलती हो रही है, वापस से चेक करो. इन 2014 It's nearby 417.05. Right? 417.05. Okay. Again, go to the Google and search share price of Tata Motors today. Right now. It's around 308. Okay. Now, are you getting my point? See, in 2014, if I have purchased the one share of Tata Motors, my cost is 4117, and now that price is 308.65. So it means Tata Motors does not have any capital gain, they have a capital loss. Okay, they have capital loss. So in that case, the wealth of shareholders are not there. Now you do the same thing with the Reliance company, Reliance Limited. Go to the Google, search the share price of Reliance Limited in 2014 and share price of Reliance Limited today. You will get some different idea. You will get some different figures. In 2014, the price that you will get is 1446. Okay, now search the same share price of Reliance Limited today. It's around 2107.3 right now, as of now. Okay, and today it was fall by 5.10. So if you look at to the yesterday price, it is nearby 2112.5. Okay, so now the point is very simple. Capital gain means if the Reliance Limited have profit, they have reinvested their profit in the business, and by reinvesting, they are getting the more value, they are getting the more goodwill, and they are getting the more profit and more wealth, and that wealth is converted in the share price. If I invested or I have purchased the one share of Reliance Limited in 2014, it's having the value of, it's having the cost of 446, and right now it's having a value of 2107. So the difference, okay, if you find the difference, the difference is nearby 600 rupees. That is considered as my capital gain. Okay, so this is called as a wealth maximization. Okay, so there are two ways. Okay, everyone, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are two ways, okay, to get the objective of wealth maximization. Number one is to declare the dividend on a regular basis, and number two is to make a more investment to grow the business, to expand the business, and after over a time period, the shareholders will get the more capital gain. So this is all about the two objectives. Now the next point is about the superiority of the wealth maximization over the profit maximization. But due to the time constraint, we will discuss that part in the next meeting or in the next session. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any query, any questions, let me know. If you don't have any queries, any questions, please write your enrollment numbers for attendance purpose. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Have a nice day. Stay at home, stay safe, and take care. Bye bye, everyone. See you soon in the next class. Take care.